Hi everyone and welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Casca and in today's video I'll be making an outfit in the colours of the disability flag. Fellow goth YouTuber Jess In King, who is chronicling her disability journey over on her channel, has challenged me to make a video for National Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. This includes conditions like autism, ADHD, cerebral palsy and Down syndrome. So for this video, I thought I'd make an outfit in the colours of the disability flag, while also talking a little bit about my own experiences with neurodivergence. So the plan is, I'm thinking 1940s style. I'm going to do a top, depending on how much of my pattern I can fit on the tiny bit of yellow fabric I found in my stash. I'm thinking doing like a round neck with like a gathered up area here. For the pants, I went charity shop hunting and I found some in the exact same colour as the bottom part of the disability flag. Only thing is they're quite a lot too big for me, so I'm going to have to make some alterations to them. Plan is I'm thinking just completely disassemble them and recut them to my size. And then for the middle part of the flag, I'm going to do a belt. I have made a few belts before. I've got all the bits that I need apart from rivets. I'm thinking I can just sew it because it's just fabric. Right, let's get cracking. Okay, so I am now de-wigged and de-false eyelashed. I love playing dress up. I love wearing makeup and wigs and false eyelashes and stuff, but I have sensory issues. So wearing false eyelashes, being able to feel them, like, and feel the weight of them and stuff, it really kind of makes me feel So I love wearing them. They look really, really pretty, but I can't wear them for too long because I start to get a bit too kind of overstimulated. Anyway, back to sewing. I have spent a bit of time cutting up these pants. See what I mean about the colour? They're like the exact colour of the bottom bit of the flag. Yeah, I've cut them up because they were a good, I think they were about 8 inches too big for me. But I have kept things like the pockets intact because to just have this pre-done already, that is a bonus. That is work that I don't have to do. Also, there was a nice welt pocket on the back. It's a fake one, but if I unpick that stitching there, it becomes a real one. So definitely wasn't going to mess with that. But yeah, the only other thing is the waistband. Marks and sparks. What I'm going to do, because I'm going to make these kind of 1940s style, so they'll button up the side where these ones originally with a zip at the front. I might actually keep this buttonhole because again, it saves me having to make a buttonhole. Then I just need to actually cut it to size, and there were some little belt loops that were on it as well which I've taken off, and then I can put them on in the new positions. So this is going to save me a lot of work. This is the fabric that I've got for the top. It's a little bit stiff, I'm not going to lie. It's not what I would usually make a top out of, but I'm going to give it a go, see how it looks. Only thing is, I've only got 1 metre of it, so it's going to be a squeeze. Depending on how much of a squeeze it is, I might have to do like an all-in-one like little sleeve instead of doing like a separate sleeve, because there's a chance that my sleeve pattern won't actually fit on. So that remains to be seen. I'm gonna get to finding out. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but they just fit. Right, everything is serged, everything is pressed, I've got my darts sewn in, so all I need to do now is gotta tuck these little wispies in, sew it together, and then on the front this is all going to get gathered up, so I need to run 2 lines of gathering stitches in this and gather it. Right, so I've got my gathering stitches along the top. I've also got my sleeves on. These just need to be rolled up and hemmed. Bottom needs to be rolled up and hemmed. And for the back, because I had such a small amount of the yellow fabric, I've had to borrow some fabric from the trousers that I'm using to make the belt. This isn't going to be seen though, so it's okay. And this is just a little thing for the buttons. I also didn't have enough fabric to do any bias binding for the neckline, so I am going to be borrowing some of the fabric for the belt for that as well. So this is pretty much done. After I've gathered all this up, put the binding on, done my hems, the only other thing to do is add buttons and then it's done. Right, the blouse is now done and I'm going to move on to the belt just because that's going to be reasonably quick, and I'm going to do the pants tomorrow. Now, this is what I've got for the belt. It's a pair of pants that I got from a charity shop for £2. What I'm basically going to do is cut, I reckon 1 leg length will probably do it. 2 layers big long strip, a few inches longer than my waist measurement. Then, because I've tried doing a belt before where I've sewn it and then turned it inside out, it didn't look good, it didn't work, and it ended up being all weird. So what I'm going to try doing this time is ironing my seam allowance inwards on both pieces, sandwiching some interfacing, and then top stitching around the edge. I think that's going to work best. I have also got my box of goodies. This has got a few different size belt buckles in here, and I have also got a bunch of eyelets that I'm going to use for the holes. That's something I should easily be able to get finished tonight. It's quite a quick job. The only little thing is this fabric doesn't like to iron very well, so that may be a problem with the whole ironing and top stitching. I'll have to see. Even if it does start playing up, I should have enough pins that I can like pin it like every inch or something, so should be fine. Growing up, I always knew I was different. I was the weird kid who didn't have many friends and preferred to play on my own. I loved nothing more than to sit in the park on my own and be alone with my thoughts. Being in a school environment didn't mix well with this. I was bullied relentlessly for being odd among other things. I much preferred hanging out with the teacher and would often stay in during breaks to draw. Not only was I getting picked on both in primary and secondary school, I also struggled with work. I found out halfway through high school that I needed glasses, and it wasn't until I was 25 that I was diagnosed with dyslexia. I loved learning though, and was fascinated by science. It suited me. It was based on facts and figures, something I could more easily get my head around. So, little things about me. I love making lists and like spreadsheets. I latch on to things and can get a bit obsessive. I hate change with a passion. Seriously, don't cancel or change plans with me because it stresses me out no end. I clap and tap my fingers together when I get excited. I love loud music, but hate loud noises. I can't actually hear properly if there's too many noises going on at once. Right, it's a new day and time for me to make some pants. I have prepped the bits of pant that I cut out. I've just serged along the edges. Also, I fixed this pocket so it's now an actual usable pocket, which is great. What I've got to do on my front sections, because we've got the pocket bag here, got a lovely seam here which has been finished for us, and what I need to do to make it so that it can close with buttons along one side is I need to make a little button placket that can just attach to this part of the pocket, and then on the other side just put a little facing on there. Now I don't have any of this fabric because these were pants, so I am going to have to use yet again some of the fabric from the other pants that I used for the belt. These are going to be hidden though, so nobody will ever know. Side note, I don't have any brown thread apart from a little bit of some like really rubbish stuff that I got in a big multi-pack for like a couple of quid. So I'm going to have to use this kind of purpley burgundy colour. It's not too bad, it's better than black. I'm going to use this on all my inside seams and the stuff that's not going to be seen, and I'm going to use the rubbishy brown thread for anything that will be seen. It's mainly going to be stuff like the hem at the bottom. Doesn't matter that the thread's not the best, it's my proper seams that need to actually be decent quality. What are your opinions on mismatched thread? Are you the kind of person who has to have the exact same matching thread, or are you okay just going for something that's sort of there? Also, while you're there, if you fancy giving this video a little like, it would be very much appreciated. It really helps the algorithm. It wasn't until I was in my 20s that autism was first brought up. There was a social worker where I lived, and she said I showed a lot of the signs of having it. At the time I didn't take her seriously though. All I knew about autism was stereotypes based on the symptoms in boys. The next time it was brought up was by a psychiatric nurse. I'd been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder due to issues with depression and meltdowns. He didn't think I showed signs of BPD though, and said a lot of the things I was experiencing could be signs of autism. For example, I'd switch my personality depending on who I was with, and this was seen as being manipulative. In my mind though, I was just copying what other people were doing because I wasn't sure how I should be acting. Something that people didn't see though was just how exhausting this was to keep up. After a while I would just kind of go blank. I now know this is called masking. The big wake-up call for me was after I've been denied PIP, or Personal Independence Payment, the financial help available to disabled people in the UK. On the assessment form, the health professional, if you can call them that, said I had good eye contact. This prompted me to look up the definition of eye contact, because I thought it meant just looking at a person's face in general. Nope, it literally means looking someone in the eye. This is something I just can't do. Like, it makes me feel really weird. I look people in the mouths when they talk, because that makes more sense to me. That's where the words are coming from. After doing some research, autism was once again brought up. I finally talked to my doctor about it and she agreed it sounded like I had autism. I was then referred for assessment. Unfortunately though, in my part of the UK, the waiting list is 6 years. I'll be in my 40s before I see someone. It's a long wait, but I think it will be beneficial. Understanding yourself is so important to your mental health, as well as helping other people understand you and understand why you do certain things or behave in a certain way. Autism is so often missed in girls because the symptoms can present differently, like with things like masking, for example. The more we learn, the more people will get diagnosed early and not have 30 plus years of wondering what was wrong like I did. You know what? I actually think it's kind of cute. It's definitely not the kind of thing I'd usually make, and it's definitely not the kind of thing I'd usually wear. This top, I think, actually worked out okay. It fits pretty damn well. Only thing is, there's one button at the back that I couldn't do myself, so if I wear it again, I'll have to get my partner to do it for me. Only little things are, I'm not really happy with the neckline. I'm thinking what I might do is try and find like some crochet ribbon in a bright yellow and bind it with that, and then also do around the sleeves as well. I think that'll just help to just make it look a little bit prettier. I also feel like it needs more gathering here, so if I do a top like this again in the future, what I'll probably do is I'll borrow some of the fullness from like the waist darts, bring that up as well, so I've got lots of gathering at the front, because it's just a bit gathered. I wouldn't normally wear a colour like this because my skin is very cool toned, so yellows and stuff I feel like they kind of clash, but it's not clashing as bad as I thought it would. The pants are also not in a colour that I would normally wear because again they're a bit too warm. One thing I've learnt from this is commercial patterns do not accommodate for a fuller behind, because when I brought these pants down to being my measurements, I was able to quite easily take off from the waist, but the way they were cut towards the hip and butt area, there wasn't quite enough fabric off to the side in order for me to get the correct curvature in the crotchal region and be able to like add it back on the side. So I ended up having to basically use the same pattern that they had, just a little bit smaller, which has made it so that the proportions around certain areas of my hips just aren't quite right. So there's a little bit of pulling in areas and stuff, and not the most flattering in some areas. I do like how high-waisted they are though. I always love a good high-waisted pant. So yeah, lots of lessons learnt from this project, and thanks again to Jess In King for challenging me to do this. These are colours that I would definitely never have thought to work with before, so it was quite an interesting experiment. I hope you've also enjoyed learning a little bit more about me and the way my brain works. These are things that I've always thought were just a me thing, and it was only after exploring more online that I realised that there are other people out there who like think in the same way that I do and have a lot of the same kind of issues that I do. And it's always good finding out that you're not alone, even though some of the things you experience are quite challenging. Just knowing that there's somebody else out there who understands you is so beneficial. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have and would like to see more videos of me trying to make things, then why not subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you'll be notified next time I upload a video. I do my very best to upload a new video every 2 weeks, although sometimes when I've got little collaborations and stuff it might be a little bit more. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!